Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Advantage podcast powered by the Wells Funding Group. My name is Dennis Wells. I'm super excited to have Krishna Verma with us here today. She is a top producing realtor and the owner of Verma and Associates Realty in Arkansas. And Krishna, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for such a warm welcome. So excited to be with you here. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. So how did you get started in the real estate business?
Dennis, I actually come from engineering background. I'm an ex-Walmart corporate, and I believe the area that I'm in has a strong investment potential, which I saw early on. And I wanted to just explore that a bit more. So that got me excited to begin my real estate career. And when I thought, I also wanted to, at that, I already had the investment background by the time before I got my license. My intention was not to help, my intention was to just help myself.
Yeah.
So, but soon enough, one of my tenants actually wanted me to help them. And while trying to help them out, I realized it was such a nice feeling to be able to help and guide people that I actually took it on full-fledged and started helping people out.
Yeah, I love it. And so service has always been a big part of who you are then.
Yes. I think the best form of, I do not have the proper saying in my head, but the pleasure when you're able to be of somebody's help is one of the best things you can ever feel.
Yeah, and I, when I talking with top producing realtors and entrepreneurs, what I've found is that commonality of, if you're in it to help people, the resources take care of themselves. If you're in it for a paycheck, then you're going to have a hard time.
Absolutely, and I totally support that and second that. Yes.
Yeah, very good. So how does a background in engineering help you, running your business and creating a client experience?
Being in computer engineering and using okay, I do not know why I'm out of words today, Dennis, but this is just a Tuesday for me. So being in that project management aspect of software and development, I have been able to have an analytical approach towards all my projects. So that gives me, an edge to help and me advise clients on real estate investments. Be it a structural development, be it inspections, feasibility studies, long-term evaluations. I think just because I have an experience on, the analytical part of my job, it allows me to be a little bit more detailed and in depth when it comes to guiding my clients.
Yeah, I definitely can see the impact on project management would have on a good client flow, because on our end we have a perfect loan process where for the client it just looks like this is what we do, but for us it's like there's a step to everything and a reason.
Yes, and I believe, I work with a lot of lenders, and I've heard a lot about you too, Dennis. You all go so much, people do not even know who an underwriter is, how to deal with an underwriter, how to ensure the underwriter have everything before they even raise a question, because it takes a lot of data gathering, going back and forth with the underwriters and ensuring I've seen delays, and I've seen how lenders try every single thing to, to be able to close everything on time,
Yep.
you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of different moving parts, and it really takes a team, because the part that I'm really good at is not the same. The skills that it takes to do what I do are not all of the skills required to close a loan. So you have to bring in people that
True.
have other skills that complement what you're doing. Where I tell people, my real strength is, educating, equipping, and empowering you as a client to make a great decision. Structuring your offer so it's very competitive, and that you have the opportunity to beat out a cash offer if it's a house that you want. Where my strength is not going to be is, collecting all the paperwork and dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's.
Exactly.
But then I come back in at the end where, we're managing your mortgage, and then I'm looking at, strategies to, long-term lower that cost of borrowing over time. And so, having that team that takes care of that middle part, for me is huge, so that, so that I can work in my strengths and they can work in theirs, and the client has an amazing experience.
And I think, Dennis, education is
Hmm.
the um, future right now.
Yeah.
Getting online, getting a click done, loans are great, easy to have. But what people forget is, they do not read the fine print. We need
Hmm.
people, we need somebody to hold our hands and tell us, okay, what does that fine print means, or how can it impact our loan, or even future of that particular, mortgage? Because keep in mind, mortgage is not just for a day or two, it is for 30-year long, long.
Hmm.
So it can complicate future, but
Hmm.
so having a person who can actually guide them is something that's, I think it's very much needed in the industry.
Yeah. And we tell people all the time, a great rate with the wrong strategy could end up costing you tens of thousands of dollars.
True.
And our goal really is, to have the conversation with the client up front along the lines of, how long do you think you're going to need this money? Which is probably a different question than sometimes people are getting, because they think, well, I'm buying a house, 30-year loan, I need to have the money for 30 years. And it's like, not in this market. In this market, you should be thinking we're probably going to need that money for, 8 to 10 months maybe, and then we can swap that out for cheaper money, and look at options too. Because even if someone stays in their house for, 10 or 15 years, they may be in 3 or 4 loans and that time period, because of the unique needs that they have.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's interesting actually. Because I think even my understanding was people take, I mean, I've seen refinances back and forth, but this was a good learning that I just learned.
Yeah. Well, and it's, the really helping people, understand, the financial market is very cyclical. And, when you're working with, you and myself, 60% roughly of our value to our clients is really after they close. People think, oh,
Yes.
well, I got the keys, see you, Krishna, see you, Dennis, but it's like, no, we're really here. There's a difference between owning a house and being a successful homeowner. And our
True.
goal is to
True.
help those people really maximize the wealth building potential of their home, and to, to set them up for whatever their next opportunity is, whether it is, if they have a, primary residence, maybe they're looking at an investment property, or, in, they buy a starter home and then they have kids, or they want to get into a better school district, at, making that equity transition plan from where you are to where you want to be. And obviously, working with a great realtor to make sure that, not just the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, lot size, but, why are you thinking now to make the move or to move
Exactly.
up?
Absolutely. And I think you really nailed that point, is why I want my buyers to be extremely educated, because paperwork is not my thing. Anybody can do it. A computer can do it. You can fill it
Mm-hmm.
up. But knowing why this house is a perfect fit for their need is what makes us different.
Yep.
Guiding them. Okay, fine. How do you look at this particular house from today to tomorrow? Because keep in mind, things would change. Most
Yep.
of the buyers, in my experience, they come with a very small box thought process. Okay, fine. I need 4 bedroom, 3 bath, this school district, that school district, and done. For them, their assumption is they're going to live there for probably forever, you know. But then, people like us, I mean, I think if they are tied up with a great lender and great realtor, if when they have a team that is supporting them, they
Mm-hmm.
would be able to understand why we just focus on a situation rather than, putting that house for a long-term mortgage.
Yep.
Right. So I have I think many of my buyers are now second-time buyers and second-time homeowners,
Mm-hmm.
and they're investors. We are creating institutional investors, not accidental investors.
Yes.
So we are trying to show them the path to wealth on a little different side.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And and obviously, you're aware of, there's, you know, your primary residence creates wealth, primarily by appreciation gain, so the house goes up in value, and amortization gain that you're paying off your mortgage.
Yes.
Investment properties, there's about 5 different ways that it creates, financial, wealth, wealth for you, and that's an important thing. What advice would you give to someone who is thinking about getting into real estate investing in particular?
They should get in. I can only speak of my area, with the knowledge I have. It would be unfair if I come into somebody else's area and speak, okay, go and jump in. Being in Northwest Arkansas, this area is on a boom with Walmart
Yeah.
opening their 2.0 headquarters. This area is going to see a huge rise in equity. My predictions is probably 2029. 2029 is where we'll peak out a little bit. So if anybody is listening to this podcast, please let's jump in and buy
Yeah.
some real estate in Northwest Arkansas. I have invested. I think I learned it very early on. It can be scary because just like stocks and other investments, it's not real estate investment also needs a little bit more time to mature up. So
Hmm.
if somebody's looking to get in today and say, "Hey, I'm going to get quick rich," it's real estate is probably not something they should look in.
Hmm.
Real estate is, if you nurture it well, it's going to give you a good, return.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, very, very few investments are the ones you can buy it one day and turn it around and sell it in the next. But real estate, a great hedge against inflation.
Yes,
It is, like you said, if you have an investment property, you can utilize depreciation to maybe offset gains in other parts of your life. So maybe if you're trying to convert a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA,
oh yes,
and
yes,
you're getting some capital gains, but you can offset that with some depreciation and things like that.
depreciation,
I mean,
yes.
I will say I'm not a CPA, so talk with your CPA about that. But it's there's just things that that you can, that I've heard, right, that you can do to really utilize that power of real estate to impact not just the cash flow on rent, but lower
Absolutely.
your tax
I think,
liability.
I believe going on with the current interest rates, it does make investments a little tricky.
Hmm.
But I believe, investors should see it as a long-term potential. Give any
Hmm.
real estate a 3 to 5 year mark.
Yes.
If they are not able to see a cash flow in the 3 to 5 year mark, their evaluation needs to be reevaluated, you know.
Right. Right.
So I, um, yeah,
Yeah. No, I love it. So what are some of the challenges that you see in the real estate market right now?
I think there are three potential challenges. That's what I see. One is, of course, our beloved, we'll see how the elections play a role in either upping and lowering them. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch over a couple of weeks. Of course, the shortage of housing, irrespective, I mean, be it be rentals or be it be, not small family homes, single family homes. I believe there is a shortage, nationwide.
Yep.
And the third and most important thing to me is affordability.
Yep.
So now shortages and affordability go inversely. I mean, there's a shortage, so there's a price increase, but at
Yeah.
the same time, we need affordable housing. So I hope I hope someday we are able to focus these three things together and resolve these challenges that we have in the industry right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, one guy's opinion, but we're still unwinding the effect of the real estate crash of 2008 to 2010. Because I mean, no surprise to you, but we have like probably 20 to 25% of the inventory today that we had prior to the crash. And there's a lot of things going on there. Part of it is when there were 5 empty houses on every street, nobody was building houses. So we're which was a terrible time. And and I think sometimes when people are waiting for prices to come down, they don't remember like the rest of the story of what was going, we remember what was going on back then, but not everybody does. And so just the lack of inventory is going to, by nature, stabilize the home prices. I think, 4% appreciation is very, very conservative in a market
Very
where
conservative.
you just don't have inventory. And then, educating people along the lines of every 1% decrease in interest rate, you're probably looking at like 1 to 2 plus million more people that can afford to buy at whatever price point that is.
True. And I think, um, I think, my biggest challenge is the generation that I work with is they have seen the COVID boom. So in order to educate them that COVID was just an anomaly, it is not a natural thing to have 100% increase in prices in a year.
Right.
That does not exist.
Right.
The best thing is a 6 to 7%, or probably a third, when we started seeing 10%, 13%, 15%, and then this area did not hear multiple offers or the craziness till we hit COVID. Right. So one thing that I always tell my buyers is, COVID was an anomaly. You will never get those rates.
Yeah.
And you be interest rates or the house prices. So
Mm-hmm.
just buckle up, accept what it is, because you may get a lower rate tomorrow, but you will only get a higher, house price tomorrow.
Right. Right. Yeah, and again, I mean, it gets back to that 60% of our value comes after we close, because I see the bulk of my job is helping people manage that debt. People have CPAs, financial planners, and estate people that help them manage their assets. Few people have anybody helping them manage their liabilities. And it's like, yes, get the house right now, so you're locking in the acquisition price, and then your close. We're going to set your strike rate and say, where does that interest rate have to be where we can do a no point, no cost refi? Maybe you're rebuilding your escrows. You're going to get back from your servicer in 3 weeks. So it's a net wash. So you have an immediate savings. You're not having to, well, in 6 months you've broken even. Now you break even like day one. But we can always do that, when the rates are favorable. What I can't do is get in the Wayback Machine and get you that $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 worth of equity that you would have missed had you not bought when you had the opportunity.
True. And I'm glad there's a lot of buyers that actually understand it. They realize what they have seen it, and they follow. They can be educated very well. And it is such a pleasure to work with them, to guide them and see them succeed, because I think it's like, it's not the paycheck that makes us happy. It's that our people are succeeding,
Yeah.
and building their wealth, and we were a part of their journey. And I think nothing on this earth can beat that.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree that, there's, um, the, the first time you do something that's pretty exciting, but then when you're able to help someone else do it, you realize that that's even more exciting. I mean, it's very difficult to lead somebody a place you haven't gone before, but
Yes.
when you've gone there and now you're taking people along with the journey, then, then you realize that, oh, that's even more exciting than it was when I did it the first time.
Absolutely. And when we build portfolios for investors in this area. And there are often times that my buyers and my investors would bring me a property and I would say, hey, do you think it will fit your portfolio? Just see the numbers. Does it help? So we'll sit down and check the numbers. And sometimes that property is not a right fit. And
Yeah.
I think, and I believe that our customers value that input,
Hmm.
because not every property is right for every investor.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why they need an experienced guide, just
Yeah.
like, if I was, going to take my family on a, whitewater rafting, excursion, I'd want someone who knows what they're doing, who knows where the rocks are, the best way
Yes.
to navigate that. It's like
Yes.
anybody can get on the inner tube when the water's smooth, but when, having someone to say, I know this looks like a good property, but let's take a look at, the combination of the acquisition price, what we think the rental income is going to be, what is your cap rate, what is your, how does that fit in with the rest of your, tax strategy, and, your plan for maybe financial freedom, or your,
Children's
and run
education.
financial. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. There are many reasons why people come to us and say, hey, this is why we want to invest in real estate. Maybe diversification of assets, or
Hmm.
children education, or just retirement, or just an experience, because it's worth it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely it's I've seen several properties that I wish my investors would have not bought. I do manage them. But I believe that I wish they were guided better. But again, I mean, like I said, I also feel that not to circumcise you invest anything, it's just gonna be a gold mine.
Right.
But yes. So no, and I also say one more thing to align where you say where we educate afterwards, because most of the time, transactions from A to B are very smooth. It's just what comes after. You
Right.
know, you guiding, be you guiding, hey, sometimes just be like the best part is they can approach you if they're getting any mailers and say, hey, instead of getting scammed, they can just say, Dennis, is this the right paperwork we should get?
Hmm.
Or
Right.
like coming to you and say, hey, where can I find mortgage papers, or how
Right.
can I do this? So that personal touch and personal support, I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And, yeah. And realizing that, things are going to go better when
Yes.
you're listening to someone who, does this for a living, and, not in an arrogant way, but just like, I'm, for example, I'm keeping up with the financial markets every single day.
Yes.
I don't expect most other people to, so when we're like, hey, when, when the rates hit here, I want your permission up front that we're going to lock you in, and we're going to move you, and we're going to save you that $200 or $300 a month. My job is not to take you to Las Vegas and tell you, put it on red or black. It's like, this is a sure thing. And, because those windows of opportunity, whether it's investment or whether it is savings, on your mortgage payment on a monthly basis, those windows can open and close, really quickly. I mean, there were 6 days in August, their rates got down to like 6%, the
Yep.
lowest they've been in 2 years, and then automatic, then like almost instantaneously it went away. And those people that were ready, they were able to take advantage and capitalize on that. The others who weren't, unfortunately, are paying more for their mortgage now than what they should have.
Yes.
And then, next time around, we'll be a little bit more proactive on that. So
That's a good catch. I mean, I've learned so much on this podcast already, Dennis, that I'm like, okay, interesting. I think there are a few things that even as an investor, I did not know, and I think I'm learning a lot, and maybe I'm going to use a couple of things that you just discussed. Maybe we have to have a conversation off of podcast and discuss a few more things.
Yeah, I'd love it. And we could even do like if we want to do a webinar with with home buyers or investors, that would be great. Would love to
Right.
do that.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. I think there is a wealth of knowledge I see, because you spoke about few things about, I'm one of them that I was lucky enough to have a property bought or lock the interest rate when the interest rates dipped in August. I
yeah,
was just there, so
yeah.
that makes me wonder, like, I'm not so sure how much longer can we keep the rate locks open, or how much can we
Hmm.
do. The best people would be you, like, to guide us and to say, hey, let's lock it now and lock it later,
Yep.
or maybe, hey, this is the time that you should refinance because your rates were 7, right now they're 6. You can say something, even
Right.
a, absolutely. No, that's a very, very good call.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And depending, I mean, it's like depending on the loan amount, that 1% savings could be $400, $500 a month. That people don't really consider that. And why not do a no point, no fee refi when you can save someone that much money and you're taking care of them after the,
In the and specifically in the current market and the current environment that we are in, $400 means a lot. Look at the
Mhm.
inflation rate. I mean, I hear stories, and it's difficult. It's getting difficult to for people to manage their households. So $400
Right.
is a huge thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So how are you utilizing technology to improve your client's experience?
Oh, that's a very good question. So my brokerage is based on, like, my brokerage actually follows a lot of data points. you
Okay.
know my team is always aware of the, let's say if it's an investor, my team is always aware of what's going on in the area, if it can impact their portfolio or not.
Hmm.
Anything that can be as simple as an electric easement going on,
Mm.
or the commercialization of that area that can, in some cases that commercialization can be good, industrialization can be worse. So it all depends on what they're doing and what they want to do it. We use a lot of tools in our back office
Hmm.
to analyze the data that we have actually obtained from various collective
Hmm.
organizations, and we're able to pinpoint them that whether this particular investment would be a good fit for them or not.
Yeah.
We strive a lot on AI right now.
Hmm.
So we are incorporating a lot of technology in my company, be it be property management or be it be investment, asset management for my investors.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get scared of AI, that they think somehow the computer is going to take over the world. And they don't realize that, you're seeing a lot of AI, whether it's predictive texting or, um, you know, I would put like automated underwriting in a sense as
Oh,
AI.
yes.
It's running through, it's basically analyzing the loan file and saying these are the items that we identified based on the questions that were asked and what you need. And currently, right now, we actually have a person that goes through there and verifies that we have all of these things. But there are mortgage companies now that have closed loans completely with AI, not only running the underwriting but analyzing the bank statements and the documents and all of that, and then closed it. Or I'm sure before they funded, they had like a real person go through there and just verify,
I'm sure, yes.
make sure that there were no bugs in it. But that's where I think the future is going, is like the part of the business that is strategy, high touch, high education. That's only going to get more and more important. And those repetitive tasks, I think are going to get more and more outsourced to, smarter and smarter computers.
Absolutely. My mentor once told me the AI is as smart as the person using it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that was a very good call because, yes, your AI may be smarter than me, or my AI might be smarter than somebody else, because it is the way we are using the prompt. How are we utilizing it? I love, from a tech background, I love the use of technology. And it can make our life so much easy, from automated showings to automated listings to automated calls.
Yep.
We have the best part about our team that we're working on right now is we have analytics on everything.
Mm.
If we have listed it, how many days was it listed, to how many people viewed it, what time they viewed it, what demographics they viewed it,
Yep.
when, where. So we are trying to create an audience or a content that would be based on that particular audience, so that our listings can actually get more audiences easily.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's huge because like the data is there. So if you're utilizing it, you're going to have the advantage, and utilizing it in a way that makes you more customer focused rather than less. I see the danger that the couple of dangers with AI. One is ignoring it, thinking that it's not really. It kind of like some people back in the day thought email was a fad. We could only wish. But the other side of it is to utilize technology to insulate you from the client. And what we really need to make sure is that we're utilizing the technology to draw us closer. So again, automating the mundane tasks that used to take our time, so that we can spend more of our time having conversations with clients, educating our
Absolutely.
clients, making sure that they understand what's going on, and that they understand the background. What is it in the financial markets? What's going on in the financial markets right now that are going to impact, inflation, mortgage rates, those kinds of things moving, home prices, home affordability moving forward. And, and like I said, the data is there. It's just being able to curate it and be able to interpret it. I think that's, another part of the problem is like, there's a lot of information out there that people can get their hands on, but do they understand the ramifications of the information that they're getting? And a lot of times they don't. It would be like, if I went and became a welder for a day, I'd have no idea what I was doing.
True. And I believe with the knowledge, with the new technology, with the AI in place and the experience in place, I believe we are capable of guiding and advising our buyers and investors to a level better.
Yep.
And I also believe you really said my mind when I said, hey, we are using technology to do the mundane task, so that we can spend quality time with our clients, educating them, whatever they want to do, whether they want to buy, they want to sell, rent, manage. It's just, getting that knowledge further up.
Yep, absolutely. What advice would you give to someone who is, looking to get into real estate or looking to get, I know you said like investing, just go ahead and do it. But what if someone is wanting to get start a career in real estate? How would you advise them?
I think it can be a great career, but don't focus on the paychecks. I think we started this podcast with the same beginning, that let's not focus on the paycheck versus helping people out.
Yeah.
Whenever they come in, let them find a niche, something that makes them happy. Is it helping older couples, younger couples, couples with dogs, couple with kids, couples with, teenagers? Everybody has a niche because that person resonates with that niche. They can actually understand what their clients are going through, because real estate is not always about real estate. It is always about relationships. It's how
Yep.
you handle the client. Sometimes you and I both know, sometimes we have to hold hands. We have no idea what's going on, but we just want to let our clients know that we are there. And we are only
Yep.
able to connect because we understand what they're going through, right?
Yep.
So, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a people business. But once you have kept you have you have accepted the mindset servant leadership, as we
Hmm.
say, success is just going to come after you.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That servant leadership, and a mentor of mine, explained kind of the genius zone where, so like if you have a grid, a 4 box, and so there are things that you're good at, things that you're not good at. There are things that give you energy, things that take your energy. Well, obviously you don't want to spend any time in the things that take your energy that you stink at, but
Yes.
and it doesn't mean that you don't have to do mundane things that maybe you're not the most thrilled about. But the more time that you can spend in what he calls the genius zone, where it's something that you're really good at, but that it gives you energy at the same time. That's where, and I segue, and I think that goes into kind of a sense of calling, that, when you
Yes.
are in, when you're operating in that space, you're operating at the highest level, and you're providing as much value to other people as you possibly can.
Absolutely. It's the energy. I believe, like,
Yeah.
similar lines, you will attract that particular energy.
Hmm.
And you will be positive because you love doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's your calling, that's your energy. You're going to spread some great vibrations out of it. So it will attract success no matter what. I mean,
Yeah.
so mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I've really enjoyed our conversation here today. I'm sure a lot of people on the podcast would love to get in touch with you, talk about investing, talk about real estate. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you and get a hold of you?
They can absolutely email me at kriverma@gmail.com. That's kriverma@gmail.com. And bear with me, give me some time. I'm not always that quick on responses. I have a great team that helps me stay on top of things. And I would love it does not have to be a real estate question. It does not have to be something that a transactional question. But if somebody wants to reach us out to understand and know a bit more, or just to connect about North Arkansas, we'll be happy to guide them and talk about our area.
I love it. I love it. I want to thank everyone for being a part of the podcast today, listening to us here. We are the Financial Advantage, powered by the Wells Funding Group. You can reach myself and the team, 219-230-8400. Love to talk with you about all things, financing real estate, and, really creating a family legacy. So we'd love it if you would like or subscribe on whatever platform that you're listening to this podcast on. And please share this with 3 or 4 of your friends who might also be interested in real estate and investing. And Krishna, thank you again so much.
Dennis, thank you so much for having me. Have a good day, sir.